One of the year's most anticipated movies is about to hit theaters.
I found a disease that no one has ever seen. Repetitive head trauma chokes the brain.
The NFL does not want to talk to you. You turned on the lights and gave their biggest boogeyman a name.
The movie Concussion will be released on Christmas Day. It stars Will Smith and tells the true story of the doctor who first discovered brain trauma in pro football players, setting up a dramatic showdown between the doctor and the National Football League. Well, at the same time, 13 Investigates has new information about concussions involving high school athletes here in Indiana. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel just obtained the state's largest concussion numbers, and he says it offers parents cause for both optimism and concern.
Go! Move! Schools across Indiana were using low-rated football helmets that put students at a higher risk for concussions. Shortly after 13 Investigates exposed that problem last year, the Indiana High School Athletic Association started collecting concussion data from schools statewide. Reports came pouring in last fall, and this year is no different, as schools report concussion events like the one that sidelined Hunter Brown.
I went to tackle one of our best players, and I got hit in the side of the helmet on the weak part, right on the ear, and I blacked out. I couldn't remember anything that happened that day.
Hunter is a sophomore at Mooresville High School. His concussion happened a few months ago at practice, and at first, no one knew about it because Hunter got up and just kept on going. That is, until he realized he didn't know where he was.
I was like, how did I get here? I ended up in the middle of the field. I didn't know what happened. I was just so confused at the time. I asked a couple of my buddies, what happened? How did we get here? That's when they found out I had a concussion.
Go! Hunter is certainly not alone. This fall, schools reported hundreds of concussion-related incidents, mostly in football and soccer, but also in other sports as well. And now, for the first time, we can compare one year to the next. Last fall, from August 1st to December 1st, Indiana schools reported 1,199 concussive events. This year, for the same time period, schools reported 837. That's a 30% decrease in concussion-related incidents. And on the surface, that seems like great news.
I hope it's right. I hope numbers are down.
But IHSAA Commissioner Bobby Cox realizes there's a problem with those numbers. After Eyewitness News discovered about 3/4 of Indiana schools have not yet reported their concussions. And only about half the number of schools that reported last year have reported so far this year.
If schools are failing to monitor concussive events and or failing to report, then we don't have a good sample of what's really going on out there because there's a segment of our population that's misrepresented or unrepresented.
Right now, reporting student concussions is purely voluntary for Indiana schools.
We don't make it mandatory that they report them right after every game or even after every season.
Why not? Why not make this mandatory for schools?
Well, I think we create a lot of mandates on our schools already. Once you make something mandatory, you're going to have a penalty that goes with it. What if they don't report it? There are a lot of other questions that need to be answered with respect to making something mandatory.
For now, IHSAA is left with limited data. It shows most of the schools that have reported so far have fewer concussion events this fall than last.
We're crazy if we don't take advantage of all the new technology that we have.
That includes Pendleton Heights. The school just started using new impact sensors in their football helmets, and that might help explain a 45% decrease in reported concussion events at Pendleton Heights this fall. Other schools like Warren Central, Zionsville, and Brebeuf, they report a significant increase in concussion events, which could simply mean they're tracking and reporting incidents more closely. This fall, some schools reported as many as 6 concussion events in a single day, something state leaders actually see as a positive.
The part that I'm really most pleased about is that there's an increased awareness. An opportunity for us to have better awareness and better understanding of what we're dealing with.
For the concussion data to be truly useful, IHSAA knows it must get more schools to participate. The organization says early next month it will send a reminder to all 408 member schools to submit their concussion incident reports. IHSAA will also consider making the reporting mandatory. If you want to see what your school district has reported so far, we have both last year's data and this year's concussion numbers posted right now at WTHR.com.